haud, secus ex oculis se turbidis obsturata runs, contentesque fuga, mediis se instuit armis. Hardly otherwise does the disturbed Aruns take, ferre tulinatum, take himself away. Just like, hardly otherwise. What do you mean, hardly otherwise? Otherwise, other than what? That dog simile. That dog simile. Hardly otherwise, just like a female dog. Hardly otherwise does Aruns, disturbed, take himself from the eyes, from the other sight is the idea. And, such an ugly, unhomeric phrase, and content with flight, content with running away. Oh no, content with running away. He mixed himself in the middle of weapons, in the middle weapons, literally, in the midst of weapons. This, of course, he's hiding in plain sight. In the chaos of battle, he's just pretending to mix in. Illa manu moriens telum trahit. That woman, she, Camilla, she, dying, pulls the weapon with her hand out of the means. Ooh, some big anastrophe here. It wants to be a comma conjunction. Conjunction wants to go there. And prepositions want to go right with their objects. Some anastrophe there. And it puts ossa as the emphatic position. Bones. Bones. Ossa sed inter vereas ad costas alto stat vonera mucro. Watch out, mucro. Mucro, third declension. Nominative. Third declension. Nominative. But the iron point stood to the ribs in the deep wound between the bones. Now what I think here is that the spear went through and got stuck to the backside of her rib cage. And the spear point is lodged as it's driven through the front, goes through and lodges into the rear part of the ribs. She's pulling on it, and it's tugging on those rear ribs, bringing them forward through her chest. Bloodless, she falls. Paluptaton, 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 labatur labuntur, and asyndeton. Only worthy heroes get an elaborate death scene like this, with this much rhetoric, this much devotion, this much care to her death. Bloodless, she slips. And her cold eyes slip in destruction, slip into destruction, fall in death. Oh my gosh, Frigida Lumina. Lumina, it's enjammed right there. It's enjammed right there. It's enjammed right there. It's enjammed right there. Lumina means eyes in a certain context. When did you see lumina meaning eyes? That's right. Catullus. Catullus poetry, love poetry. Eyes in an erotic context. That's when lumina means eyes. Otherwise, it's oculos. So are we being presented with kind of an erotic context here? Well, nobody has argued it, but I'm going to imply it. So if you were to look up articles on this, you wouldn't really find any, but I'm going to argue it's there. Now, Catullan echoes are everywhere all over the Aeneid. Right? You can just skip ahead in the video to I'm not sure what time yet. Here's a quick little aside. Aeneas, our hero who isn't supposed to be like a Greek hero, he's supposed to be a Roman hero. He is modeled on Catullus. The love poetry, the character that shows up in Catullus's love poetry, his devotion to his mistress Lesbia, his utter, complete, no matter what devotion to Lesbia, influences Vergil when he writes the Aeneid. Catullus, in his devotion, his piety, his duty to Lesbia, is that kind of devotion, even to the point of suffering and self-harm, is going to be transferred to Aeneas. Aeneas, in the same way that Catullus is devoted to Lesbia, so too is Aeneas going to be devoted to this founding of Rome, this founding of an idea, of something to come, of an empire without limit. And so it's well demonstrated that Catullus is all over the Aeneid, all over the Aeneid. And here, I would argue it shows up very clearly and specifically in our Camilla episode. So, pay attention again. Purpureus quondam cola ora reliquit. And the formerly purple color, the once upon a time purple color. Purple, it's probably like a flush, right? A flushed color, because she was exerting herself on the battlefield, right? All that blood rushing to your face. That's the color we're talking about. And it's former. It's no longer purple because the blood has left her face. Imagine pale now. Formerly purple color abandons her face. Then, in such a way, expirans. Acex aequalibus unam ad loquitur. Then thus, and of course it was a Roman tradition, that if you could be present at a loved one's final moments, the very last, the end, the extremis, you would, as they breathed their last, put your lips close and try to capture their death breath, their dying exhalation with your own lips. Then thus, breathing out, expiring, she addresses Acca, one from her equals. They're all equals. Even though Camilla is technically queen in charge, they don't appear to have any more, any kind of hierarchy beyond that. Fidandalias quae sola Camilla. Enjambment. She's going to talk to Acca, her sister Acca. They're not literally sisters. One from her equals. Enjambment. Anastrophe. The quae really wants to be there. The quae wants to be there. The quae wants to be there. So that's what I'm going to start with, my conjunction. She addresses her one Acca. Acca, who is faithful before the others, alone to Camilla. Wow. This is, of course, a pleonasm, which is, it's just when you have more words than you need to communicate an idea. Faithful before all others, alone, right? You can have sola or antalias. Both of those get at the same idea. You don't need both, but we have both here. Faithful, fida. Catullus was always fidus, was always faithful, alone to Lesbia. This, Camilla has one of her sisters who is faithful to her, alone, more than the others, faithful before all the others. Quicum partiri curas. See? In this line, est. I inferred an est. And when you infer verbs, guess what you usually, almost always, 100% of the time infer? A form of sum, right? English does it too. It's called a copula deletion, right? We've gone over this before. He is taller than she. She is smarter than he. You use, of course, he on either side of the than because there's an invisible is. It's called a copula deletion. You just infer that is there. Latin does a lot of the same thing. Est can be inferred. That's what you reasonably infer. This is a clause here. But all I'm given is an infinitive. And so I'm supposed to infer some sort of verb. What are you always supposed to infer? Sum. That doesn't work here. With whom she is to share cares? No. Nope, because she's dead. There's no more, like, expression of future. Like, no. She's not quite dead. She's dying still. So what is this? What am I... This is a weird form. Wait a second. Quicum, do you see that? This is an anachronism. I don't know why I write it out, because I'm going to put it in there anyway. Anachronism. What is an anachronism? An anachronism is a word that's out of time. Not that it has run out of time, but it's out of its own time. So like, willest, thee, thou, those Shakespearean words, if I were to start dropping them in speech, it'd be weird. It's because they're old and they're no longer used, but still English. Quicum? That's an anachronism. What's this doing here? It should be quocum, because that's an ablative. That's an ablative of accompaniment. So it should be quocum. But earlier writers, like say in Catullus, have quicum. And you've seen this form before. You've seen this form before. Where did you see it? Yes, in another Catullus poem. Another Catullus poem. You remember which one? O sparrow of my delicate girl, with whom to play. Quicquam ludera. Quicquam ludera. What were you supposed to infer? What verb were you supposed to use with ludera, that infinitive? Yes, solet. Solet. And that's what I'm going to infer here, because the Catullan echoes, references are so strong. And it doesn't make sense to infer est. So I am going to infer a solet. Now, what is the point of all this? What are you laboring for like this? I think it is implied. And if we were like at a classics conference right now, this would like blow up. Knives out, blood would be spilled amongst all the professors and stuff and graduate students. Acca and Camilla are impliedly lovers, which is taboo. Oh my gosh. It's absolutely taboo. It's a double standard in a lot of ancient literature. There are some exceptions, for instance, Sappho, but no. The depiction of same-sex love between women is forbidden. It's taboo. It's not done. It's okay with men, right? You have it with Achilles and Patroclus, Aeneas and Pallas. A same-sex implication between two women. Who's going to read that? Who's going to read that? Ew. That's sarcastic. That's sarcastic. With whom she's accustomed to share her cares, her anxieties, and kouros, another erotic word from Catullus. And in such a way she says these things.